welcome back to incredibly useful exercises for the double bass, where we condition specific aspects of our performance in short, stolen moments. Welcome to the fourth of a 6-part series on spiccato, the bouncing bow stroke. This series explores the techniques and applications of spiccato as they relate to different tempos and bouncing styles. Here's how we're breaking this series down. General overview and preparation, medium spiccato, heavy spiccato, light spiccato, sautille and flex strokes, and then finally spiccato between 100 and 120, which I call the break. Today, we'll cover light spiccato at tempos between 70 and 100. It's a spiccato with a little bit of a special effect in the sound, when you want a lot of attack but not much duration. It's a dry sound with a lot of noise and attack, but very little sustain, so it's perfect for Italian works and vocal accompaniment patterns. I want to thank Joey Naeger for his generous support of this series. Joey has been my go-to luthier for over 5 years. He sculpted my fingerboards buzz-free on both my 1850 English orchestra bass and my solo bass, making them so easy to play, and his tone work on my basses keeps them sounding full, free, and beautiful. Many professional working bassists throughout Texas rely on Joey for fixing and maintaining their treasured instruments. The Joey Naeger prize-winning basses are also wonderful instruments. Please visit Joey's website listed below, and if you happen to be in the Houston area, pay him a visit to play his basses and to see how he can improve the playability and tone of your instrument. Spiccato is the first exercise we're doing that has multiple high ratings. These ratings are not precise. Consider them the maximum ratings depending on which variation you decide to explore. It's 6 minutes long, but again can go much longer if you get into a flow state. Velocity and control are a 6, mindfulness, coordination, and endurance are a 3, expression is a 2, and power is 0. We play spiccato to develop and exercise the 4 types of spiccato families as they relate to different tempos: medium, heavy, light, and sautille. Today is light spiccato, which is a short, dry attack around and above the middle of the bow. Here's medium spiccato at about quarter note at 80, near the balance point. And here's heavy spiccato at 80, near the frog. And now we're back to light. See how the location and balance really changes the sound. I like exploring how many sounds I can make in different parts of the bow. It's like having a hairy guitar pick. I use light spiccato a lot at the Wortham Center, which is where the Houston Grand Opera plays, because the pit there is exceptionally resonant. Any sound I make carries for a long time, so I don't need or want a lot of echo or power. Also, when accompanying singers in lighter works, they need more articulation than resonance in the sound. One of my favorite works we did at the opera was Saul by Handel. We played with harpsichords, small organs, a lute, a theorbo, a small orchestra, and absolutely pristine singers. In that production, the pieces range from small early Baroque sounds in the recitatives to full-force orchestra in the triumphal pieces and chorales. We had every style of playing, so I decided to use my big English bass, which was perfect for the chorales, but way overpowering for the smaller arias and recitatives. So I decided to use a light spiccato, making a little noise and letting the resonance of the bass add a dark shadow to the cello sound. It was amazing, and I love how the natural resonance of the bass actually filled up that large hall. There were times that it almost sounded like a plucked banjo with a deep sustained organ sound. I love the variety of these sounds. So let's see how it works. Let's start with the trampolines basketball. For medium spiccato, we'll settle near the balance point. For heavy spiccato, we settle very close to the frog, but for light spiccato, we settle near the middle and even explore some sounds between the middle and the tip. Some of these sounds won't sound resonant, round, and full like medium spiccato does. Don't worry about that. We're not trying to make it sound like the others. Let it sound a little weird and focus on the bounce and the grab and the timing of the rotation and the bounce. Remember our French bow setup with the thumb on top of the stick. This is important in light spiccato because we spend a lot of time in the air. At each tempo, I look for muscles to relax and use the most efficient motion that's needed for the bounce. I'll start at 70. Start with French bow, start with the trampolines. I go all the way to the frog, just to remember the feeling. Basketballs, back, settle between the middle and the tip, détaché, and add the bounce. Now German, start with the trampolines. Still 2 contact points. I'm not having my index finger on the stick now. It's not because it's not the way to do it. I'm just showing you how easy it is to bounce the bow with just 2 contact points. I think you do need to add the index finger back on. That was a good question I got this week. Détaché. Add the bounce. And now go up to 80. Trampolines. Back to the middle and above. Détaché. Add the bounce. With German bow, trampolines, back to the middle and above, add the détaché, add the bounce. Up to 90 with French, trampolines, tiny bounces. Remember, don't practice harder when you get faster. Détaché, add the bounce. And then with German, trampoline, détaché, add the bounce, and then finally 100. And just to let you know, at 100 it does become a bit of a challenge because we're starting to approach the break, which we're going to cover in a couple of weeks. Basketballs are really tricky at 100. Détaché, add the bounce. And we're right on the cusp of the break, so you're going to feel a lot of tension when you try this. And then finally with German bow, détaché, add the bounce, and that's that. Let's look at it in slow motion. You can see that the hair bites the string, then jumps right off. I really like to use the bow like a pick and get a chiff, sound at the start of the bounce. The chiff causes a strong, stringy kind of sound, which is so much more colorful on gut strings. I hope you get to experience that someday. The wrist action is pretty much just rotational, a real trampoline stroke. There's a little bit of shoulder, but not much. You can't really make the note longer by using more shoulder in this part of the bow. You can feel most of the bite from the bow in the right index finger when you're playing out this far. This stroke really works well on multiple up bows, down bows, and thrown bows. It's fun to play with, and if you have the permission to use this in an orchestral setting, it makes the music really enjoyable and spontaneous. This is a fun byproduct of all of my practice on trampolines basketballs. I can do my trampolines and just move the bow back and forth. Let the light spiccato be perfectly light. There's no need to make it sound like the other spiccatos. So now that it's working, let's road test it on our short scale. I'm not really working to improve the body of the tone. I'm just focusing on the articulation and trying different placements to see if I can get different overtones in. Now that it's working, we'll do the full scale. Here's how we play it. I've chosen to play it at 90 today. I'll work to keep the articulations clean and interesting. Because I'm not doing it with a metronome, I'll be relying on my own inner rhythm to keep it steady. Before I play, I plan my recovery strategy because once I start, I don't let any mistake or fatigue stop me, just like in live performance. If I lose the bounce, I'll keep playing détaché until the end of the scale, find the stroke again, and resume the exercise. Also, if I feel like I've gotten too fast or too slow without the metronome, I'll check in again when I get to 4 strokes per note. Okay, let's play. I'll check with the metronome, find the stroke on the F on the D string, memorize how it feels in my shoulder, turn the metronome off, and play. Let's go. 1, 2, ready, go. And that is light spiccato. Try to do a little bouncing every day, even if it's not for the full scale. Daily work on this will cement the motions into your body, so trust the process. Here's a list of some common excerpts that fit into the light spiccato family. Check out the description below for a list of excerpts ranked according to all families and tempos. With light spiccato, you can play all sorts of bowing games. This is where I mess a lot with my section, and also to keep my head in the game during long shows. When we accompany, I do lots of multiple ups and downs just to mess with Eric, my stand partner. It helps keep all of us in the game, and it ultimately reminds us that we're doing this to play and have fun. As long as we do it right, it gets us into the spirit of music, instead of just staying legalistically chained to the printed notes. Music is fun, so do what you can to enjoy it. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you find spiccato as useful for your performance as it has been for mine. I present this in the way that I've used and benefited from it, and I don't intend to say that it's the only way to practice or to approach spiccato. You can adapt these ideas to your style of curiosity, conditioning, or teaching. Practice this and all exercises in the series in short stolen moments, or incorporate them into your regular conditioning routine. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and leave any questions, comments, observations, success stories, or suggestions below. Please check out the incredibly useful exercises series of workout books, available in paperback and ebook on the Amazon site in your country. I look forward to you joining me next time. Thank you, and be well, friends.